It is 7 p.m. and today is Thursday, February 6, 2025. It's time to call the meeting of the Bristol Redevelopment Commission to order. We'll take roll call. Jeff Beachy.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Jeff DeHolsky.
Greg.
Greg.
Here.
Sorry about that, Greg.
Jeff's not here, but Greg is.
Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
Present.
Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Here.
Town Marshal Steve Cream.
Here.
And Council Alex Bowman.
Here.
And Doug DeSmith is here. Approval of agenda. Has everyone been able to review the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none, the agenda will stand as published. For reports, Alex.
Thank you, Mr. DeSmith. This evening, there are two items of business, both related to the same confirmatory resolution. The first is a public hearing on resolution number 2-6-2025-4, which is the confirmatory resolution of the Bristol Redevelopment Commission, confirming the declaratory resolution, amending the economic development plan for the consolidated State Road 15 economic development area. Essentially, this is a matter that is likely familiar to the members of the RDC and the town council. This is the amendment to the State Road 15 EDA to allow for the Stoll properties to be added to the economic development area. This started with the declaratory resolution, I believe at the first meeting of the year. The Plan Commission approved it. It's come before the town council. It is now before the RDC to confirm the declaratory resolution. Statute requires that a public meeting be held. There has been appropriate notice published of the public hearings. The public has been appropriately made aware of this hearing. With that, happy to answer any questions from the commissioners with regards to the resolution. From a process standpoint, I'd recommend opening a public hearing, accepting any public comment, and then at the close of the public hearing, adopting the resolution as presented.
All right. We will now open a public hearing on confirmatory resolution 2-6-2025-4. Is there anyone in the room who would like to comment on this resolution? If so, go to the podium, state your name and address. Well, with no one coming forth to comment, we will close this public hearing.
I believe with that, the resolution is ripe for adoption.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt confirmatory resolution 2-6-2025-4?
I'll make the motion. We adopt resolution 2-6-2025-4. I'll second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Greg. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Kathy?
The resolution refers to, does that refer to into looking into the purchase? Or because we had asked a lot of questions at the last meeting as far as size, the building, and all of that stuff. We are talking about the old brick building.
Yeah,
correct.
Yes. So in answer to that question, at the RDC's meeting on January 16th, the commission adopted resolution 116-2025-1, which approved the acquisition of the property.
Mhm.
So that would be essentially a separate matter here. The confirmatory resolution here pertains exclusively to the amendment to the economic development area. So interrelated but separate items of business, if that makes sense.
No.
Essentially, the amendment to the EDA here was what's the item of business before the commission this evening is what would authorize expenditures of the RDC's money towards the acquisition of that property.
Should we decide to purchase it?
The commission has approved pending a negotiated agreement on the purchase, the commission has approved the purchase.
Okay.
This just says where it would reside once purchased, correct?
I'm sorry.
This would just identify where that property would reside
Correct. Where,
once purchased.
that's correct. Where funds would flow from and who would hold title. And so pursuant to this purchase agreement.
But
the
there's no,
RDC will hold
there
title.
has not been any purchase price or anything like that negotiated as of yet. Correct?
Yes, the
Yes.
purchase price has been agreed. And the council's agreed to.
Where was that?
I'm not sure. Was that the meeting you missed? Did you miss
Could
one?
be,
That might have been.
yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah,
What was the purchase price?
cheap. I
Uh,
don't recall.
145,300.
Yes,
Okay,
Sounds right.
that's it.
I'm done.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. Jeff Beachy,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Jaholski,
Yes.
and Doug DeSmith is a yes.
You need a
Motion
cheat
carries.
sheet like you've got here. A cheat sheet.
With that,
That's all I have for you.
okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we gotta wait on Kathy, right?
Great job on the last name. It's the first time anyone's got the last name and missed the first one. Very good on the last one, though.
All right.
I said, see, Jeff has a cheat sheet. With everybody's name on it. We all get senile sooner or later.
Yeah, some of us before others, though.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I'm probably gonna be there.
Well, tell her what you said.
Yeah, what did you?
Oh, I saw that. I was picking up the cupcakes off the
That looks fine.
countertop and I
Yeah.
just said,
Okay.
and they were,
Yeah.
they were like
I think
this.
it's there. I deleted.
I said, class of 75.
Hey, wait a minute, I was class of 68.
You're the compliment.
It's funny, the owner of the company, they retired in November. The owner of the company at the Christmas party, they wanted me to say something. And I, thank you to all the people I knew and all this stuff. The owner of the company was sitting right in front of me. And I said, Tom, do you remember 5 years ago, we were standing in line in our break room for Starbucks coffee? And he started grinning ear to ear. And I said, you told me you were the oldest person in the company. And you looked at me and said 2751. And I looked at him and said 2650. And I said, so now, congratulations, you are now the oldest person in the company. Yeah, by a year and a day.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. It is 7:08 PM on Thursday, February 6th, 2025, and we'll call this meeting of the Bristol Town Council to order. So first item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. So stand, and Kathy, since it's your birthday, will you lead us?
I certainly will. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On the roll call, start off to my left, Doug Smith,
Here,
Kathy Burke,
Here.
Greg Dolsky,
Here.
Jeff Beachy's here, absent from council would be Dean Renfro. Clerk treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
Here.
Town manager Mike Yoder,
Here.
legal counsel Alex Bowman,
Here.
Marshal Steve Preen,
Here.
and in the back, assistant fire chief Denny Schwartz. No? They just, okay.
yes.
Mhm.
Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, there was one, I've got one agenda item to add. Be right back.
Okay. You just gotta do it anyway. So, okay.
This wasn't on the agenda, but happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's celebrate your birthday.
Well, thank you. I didn't even have another one. Oh, that's pretty.
Bill fit in the back thinking, ooh, more business.
Hey, Denny's over here behind me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay,
And many more.
with that addition, the agenda will stand as published. Next item, approval of the invoices. Everybody had a chance to review the bills for the month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Nope.
If not, is there a motion to approve the invoices?
I make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
Well, second.
second by Greg. Open for discussion. No further discussion, like a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries. Next item is the approval of the minutes, and I know Kathy just sent these out just minutes before the meeting, so we haven't had a chance to review them. If you'd rather forego and approve these next meeting, we can do that. So everybody had a chance to review them or not?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pass that to the next meeting. Okay, we'll jump into reports. First item up is Mike, you have a SRF distribution disbursement?
Yes, this is the state revolving fund disbursement that we tabled at the last meeting because we wanted to double check the numbers. Everything is in order now, so it's $140,468. $133,779 goes to the contractor, Niblock, and $6,689 is kept for retainage. So this is part of the water main project.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the request for payment number 13 to Niblock?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion, like vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Next up is a nice item for our agenda. The Condon family would like to donate the property that's next to Memorial Park at Central Park. They are not able to be here this evening, but Alex, I'm not sure if we have language that all the attorneys are happy with, but the first step, as I understand, is the council will accept the donation and then we'll proceed with other activities to actually acquire it, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the resolution there authorizes the documents to then get the property transferred to the town.
So essentially, the town would be agreeing to pay all the closing costs since this is donated to the town, which I think will be minimal in this case. Is this resolution what Jeff will be signing or not?
Yes, yeah, the resolution you have before you, that's appropriate to sign, and like I said, that then begins the process of negotiating a donation agreement that'll detail the actual mechanism for the transfer.
All right, so if you want the land, if you don't, I guess, vote no or don't vote.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt resolution 2-6-2025-3?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
there's a motion by Kathy, a second by Doug. Open for discussion.
Just for, that's the little piece of property in the metal, in the wood pegs that are all around it, right?
It's actually,
Right next to the pavilion down, the,
it's
gazebo.
between our park and the building to the south, so there's actually
Right,
two parcels
right.
in there, so yeah.
want to make sure.
At page 13 of the agenda, Jeff, there's a printout from GIS showing those parcels.
Exhibit A.
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? I would like to thank the Congdon family publicly. I know Earl was a staple in this community and we're sad to hear his passing. We just thank his family, his wife Ann, and his three sons, Lee and his wife Catherine, Chris and his wife Pam, and Eric and his wife Satan. I just thank you for what Earl did for this town for so many years. He was a staple in this community and he will be missed. So like to publicly thank the Congdon family for their donation.
I'd also like to thank the Congdon family and for his father, because his father was a great person that also Congdon Park, and he gave us those things as well. So
Okay.
the whole family was.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, with that said, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. The next few items actually fall under Jill's territory. So EV's charging station is up first.
The first item is an agreement between the town and Maycog. We were awarded the grant last year for the charging station, which will be located here at the parking lot. So this agreement is to proceed on with that. Alex has reviewed that agreement to make sure it conforms to all of our expectations, which it does. The town will have a 20% local match. We'll have to provide the electricity and the surveillance of. So this agreement is just stating those items.
How many ports? Jill, how many ports?
It will be for, I think, charging.
Okay, thank you.
Better audio, thank you.
And there will be a level 2 charging station.
Okay. Do we know what company manages it?
No, I think they're still working on logistics. Maycog takes care of all that with the contracting, the electrician, everything. I have not heard of any of the vendors yet.
Okay,
So all we have to do is provide the space, the surveillance, the match. And that's about it.
okay.
So we would be considered the site owner.
Correct.
So do we currently meet the insurance?
Yes. I
Okay.
checked with their broker as well. Our general liability, those values.
Okay.
So where would they be located? Do we know yet?
The charging station,
Yeah.
we're thinking it would be more the south end of the parking lot. We're still determining that, but I think when we were doing the charging stations, when we were trying to apply for the vehicle itself to, for the police department.
Yeah.
That was the easiest for the electric,
Okay,
right off Elkhart Street.
other questions?
I can interfere with the police department. If it's in the parking's on the south side, you guys are kind of have a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I can specify.
Where you typically-
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Where the pile of snow is.
Okay.
correct.
If no further questions, is there a motion to adopt resolution? I don't know, is there a resolution for this or not?
An agreement.
An agreement. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Maycog?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Doug,
I'll second.
second by Greg, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
One more thing on that, the spring is about when the request for proposals will happen. Hopefully installation will be by December of this year.
Okay. Okay. Up next, we've got some salary ordinance. There's employee handbook changes. Went to the wrong one.
We did add a page for you guys to review the wording. I know last meeting we were like, how do we word this? So that is the actual wording.
Okay,
Just you.
so you want to walk us through this, Jill, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to go into,
Yeah,
Okay.
so we,
so, at our last meeting, we went ahead and approved the police department's holiday pay. After we did that, it came to our attention that we need to reconfigure a little bit instead of year-end payout. We're gonna do it per pay period during when those holidays happen.
Good.
So, with that being said, it's basically the same practice of what we were doing. Instead of earning the comp time, that each officer will just get paid out in dollars. So, each officer, each full-time sworn officer who works a holiday will receive the 8 hours of straight time along with the 1.25 that you guys approved at the last meeting. For those officers who have that day off, will also receive those equivalent to 10 hours for that holiday.
Okay,
So the dollars that you guys approved at the last meeting will be the same year in. It just won't be a lump sum. It'll just be per pay period when that holiday happens.
okay.
Exempt or non-exempt?
So it would be for non-exempt employees.
Okay.
So just your marshals are receiving that.
Heard that cringe, Steve.
Try to sneak that in there, but
Thank you, Kathy. I didn't have that non-exempt.
Okay.
So like our code enforcer and our administrative won't, this rule won't follow for them. They'll still be receiving just that day off.
Okay. Need a motion on that?
Yeah,
Okay,
the changes of the handbook.
I make that motion to approve those changes for the police holiday pay.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know what else to think.
okay, motion by Kathy,
It's the sugar.
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, like vote Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries. Okay, now we get to the salary ordinance amendment.
Yes. So, there are several changes on this amendment. One that we just went over with the holiday pay for the sworn full-time non-exempt police officers. We also have, it was brought to our attention, Officer Dibley, where he got hired in when we were working on the 2025 pay increases. He sort of wasn't on that proposal for 2025, so he didn't get the rate as the other officers. So we need to increase him to the $30.76, $30.76. And then, talking to Steve, earlier, there's a section in here on page 4 into 5, our hiring bonuses. Steve, if you wanna talk a little bit more about that and why we're removing it.
I'm not sure when this was, but for lateral hires that they were proposing, or I don't know when this came into the salary ordinance, but that's not the practice we've been using, at least since I've been here and a little bit before. I don't recall that even in the last 5 years that I've been here, that we paid out a lateral bonus like this.
Okay,
Since July, when we started hiring people, the last few hires, we just went with the pay matrix, so they got credit for experience, and that got built into their base wage instead of doing that. So this is kind of double dipping, in my opinion, so we can just, I had to ask to have this removed, and we'll just
Okay.
compensate the way we've been doing it
okay,
the last few times.
okay,
Few other changes happened is, we had New Year's Day in the next year on there. Our HR firm said remove that. The other thing we added was more of dollar figures when it comes to our short-term disability, our life insurance policy, holiday pay. And that, yeah, I highlighted that section that we just approved in the employee handbook.
okay. Anything else?
No, those were all the changes.
Okay. There a motion to approve salary ordinance, amended salary ordinance 2-6-2025-3.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion.
Maybe just a quick clarifying question. For the holiday pay, for the amendment to the holiday pay, is there a holiday this year thus far that would be impacted by that pay? And the only reason I ask is the text of the ordinance says that it's effective, an amendment will be effective as of the date of amendment. So are we, is there, we're not looking backwards on anything, we're good
We
on a
shouldn't,
go-forward basis?
because the council at the last meeting approved that 1.25 change, we just didn't have the wording. So since they approved it, there should be no retro in any of that.
The only thing that we missed was January 1, because we started working on this after that, so the New Year's Day holiday was paid out in comp time like it normally was, and then everything, the 12 other ones moving forward.
And January
Yeah.
20th as well. Martin Luther King Day.
Yes, that was the first one that was
First one.
The new.
under the new process.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tulsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
I don't believe we had a first and second.
I made the motion.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's a good
Right,
point.
second.
This is amendment to an ordinance
Yeah,
introduced today. So by procedure, we would
Oh.
we need to have a unanimous agreement
On the
to adopt it
amendment.
today. And then the vote to adopt.
Oh.
That's my apologies.
I thought you made the motion, didn't you?
But we did suspend the rules to adopt.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
So it'd be we'll call it a motion to suspend the rules to adopt on first reading.
okay. So is there a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on first reading the amendment to the salary ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes.
Now motion to adopt the ordinance on first reading.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance on first reading for salary ordinance 2-6-2025-3?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tulsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Good catch.
Mhm.
Sorry, council.
Is what we call a section 125 plan. The purpose of this is to provide our eligible employees a payroll deduction for medical, health savings accounts. Those are the two primaries right now, but if we would ever add any additional like voluntary life, life insurance, dental, vision, they would have a portion of that. This plan is allowing us to provide those payroll deductions. Did I do good, Alex?
I think that sounds good. It sounds good.
And this came to like with the whole health savings account. In the past, this plan should have been implemented, so going forward will be compliance.
is there a motion to adopt the town of Bristol section 125 plan? I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Jeff, second by Greg, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
You have one question. Why do they call it the cafeteria plan?
I
Because they sit around the cafeteria and talk about it.
It used to have options, so you could choose, like cafeteria, you could choose
Buffet.
potatoes, and buffet.
Oh, that's why they call it
Potato,
that.
choose
Oh.
salad,
It's like a buffet.
so you could choose level of detail.
There you go.
I really know.
I looked at that and I'm thinking here, well, he wanted me to vote, and I'm going,
It's Alex's cart.
okay.
I'll find an answer for that. I'll see what I can come up with.
But just
No, it makes
curious.
sense.
That's serious. That's
Oh,
what it
okay.
is. Just like that. I know occasionally I make things up, not this time.
Well, I got that right.
But you're free to check. If I'm wrong, we'll report next meeting.
You.
Before you start, Mike, I want to find out,
Yeah.
did you find out what those stakes are on 120?
Not for sure, but I believe they mark the edge of the right of way, the entire right of way. So NDOT has purchased some additional right of way, so they're clear out at the edge of right of way.
Actually, they're not. They're on the homeowner's side of the sidewalk, and the sidewalk belongs to the town.
No, the new right of way puts the sidewalk inside the state's right of way. That's what the plans are showing.
I'll have to get my paperwork out.
So then the
because they
state
put-
has to replace all those sidewalks.
That's what I would say, but probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, because I had a question, so I pulled out the plans and it shows the right of way, the sidewalks are inside the state's right of way.
You're kidding.
Why is it in our yard? We don't have.
Yeah.
Well, because you're
Or-
supposed to have a
Or
sidewalk.
I could be completely wrong. I have no idea what. the
Well,
stakes are.
well, I do know that my daughter's house that I did own,
Mhm.
the state did purchase the right of way. They didn't from my house because mine went back years and years.
Yeah,
But I've got a drawing on that. And I could have sworn that the drawing on the right of way that they purchased was up to the sidewalk. That's why I was wondering why they're on the opposite side of the sidewalk. Interesting. I'll have to look it up. Thank
it
you.
is. And I noticed in town that they seem to mark, if it is the right of way, that right of way seems to include all of the sidewalk right up through buildings.
Yeah,
Is what
Yeah.
we need to replace.
And I had one question, Jill. I'm sorry, I can't help myself here. The section 125 plan, is that sanctioned by the UN?
Yeah.
No, okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
We forgot to check with them. We should have. Anyways, moving on. And
Right,
project.
project update.
So this is Tim's swing. And he went to swing from it. Making good progress. They're putting up the walls for the tanks, and there's a couple pictures there that. So this project's really moving along well. It's right on schedule, and it's a lot of rebar and a lot of cement.
Sure is.
Wow.
So once
So
that's,
they haven't poured any cement yet, have they?
I don't think so yet. I think they're just setting
Doesn't
forms
look like
yet.
it.
So how many truckloads of cement are
Oh,
going?
Lord, I do not know.
I want to watch that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a big pour.
It's gonna be
They'll probably.
traffic jam on 120.
Yeah,
I'll
they'll
let
have
you
a,
know when it happens.
Yeah.
And,
they'll probably have to have another, pumper in there, won't they?
oh, I would guess, yeah,
Concrete pumper.
yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of form work going on there, and a lot of rebar.
What percent complete are they?
what is it, 18 or something
I was
like
thinking
that?
around 20, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some changes that we're making on that site, we initially were going to do some finish work on those tanks as they face the residential area to make that appearance more pleasant.
Mhm.
So we're changing that, which will actually reduce the cost by a pretty significant amount of money, 100,000 or something, $98,000, just to plain cement. But we're going to construct a fence instead, replace that fence along there, and the cheapest is chain link, but I think we're leaning towards more of a vinyl fence that's 8 to 10 feet tall with a texture to it, so it looks nice, kind of a country estate feel to it.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
And,
Yeah.
I think that'll be nice for them. So that's one change that you'll probably see a change order on it once we make our minds up on what's happening. On the water side, will be that should be getting started again here in the next couple of weeks, both on the tank. I expected the tank crew to be doing the deep foundation work, but they haven't shown up yet. I thought they were going to be here last week, actually. So don't know what to hold up. That'll start, and they'll start out on North River Road, extending that direction, eventually going under the river, if you recall.
Mhm.
So that work is scheduled to start soon as well. projects updates. Any questions on those projects? Okay.
No.
Since we've got a little bit of time, I want to talk some about some changes that are happening, being proposed in Indianapolis with the legislature regarding property taxes and how it is actually impacted a meeting I'm having tomorrow. If you recall, there was a fellow on North River Road that had a property who wanted to develop into apartments or something. Mahalo or something is his name. So he's coming in tomorrow. They're ready to get started on the project. We had talked about incentives for that. We have talked about incentives for the project up north of town. That project, I think, is a little further along, and we have made some, not on paper promises, but at least verbal promises to help them out. Those promises are based upon the current ability of us to capture property taxes from residential properties. That may change, because if the state legislature approves what the governor wants, there'll be an immediate reduction in residential property tax monies that we collect, because there'll be additional exemptions, like your homestead exemptions, that are going to increase that. So residential property tax bills will be coming down immediately. The next plan then is to cap all future increases in the tax bill to some percent, like 2% or 3%. So that decreases future revenue as well. That changes all the dynamics of the residential TIF and the ability to bond from that. So I've actually reached out to the developer in Goshen that's doing Cherry Creek, that large development that Goshen is utilizing the residential TIF. And I've asked her, how is that impacting her project? She has failed to answer me yet, which means, I don't know, maybe she was in a meeting. But I also sent an email to all of our legislators saying, hey, you guys want us to incentivize residential. You are doing everything in your ability right now to discourage us from adding residential. And Doug Miller's response was, I'm watching it. I understand. The direct impact on this town from that probably won't be as bad as other communities, because we don't have residential. A lot of our tax base is on the commercial side. But Elkhart and Goshen, the legislative financial impact that I saw indicated that Elkhart County as a whole would be losing about $40 million in property tax revenue the first year. And that goes up to 60 million, projected to 60 million. That's a big hit. So when Senator Dorio called on another issue, I asked him, I said, what are you guys thinking? He said, Mike, I think it's going to go through. You might as well get your axe out and get ready to handle it. So I think we will be okay, but I could see us potentially moving some of our police budget into our TIF districts. We're moving our operating expenses into TIF because property taxes and income taxes are not covering our bills.
So what is the state gonna do with all that extra money?
They're not getting it. It's all local money. They're just taking money away from us. Is what they're doing.
But it reduces the tax burden on the residential properties.
Focused all on residential.
They want both.
So because property tax bills went up, as you know, quite a bit because of inflationary increases in assessed value.
So once again, it's business that supports the
Town.
financial,
Even more so than.
financial coffers of the town.
So whether that'll succeed or not, Blake says it's kind of like a foregone conclusion that something's going to happen, but how much is maybe unknown. There was a Senate hearing on one of the bill, on a Senate bill that does essentially this. The House side has a version as well. So the Senate hearing was today. So I'm just, anybody that wants to build in Bristol, of course, we're welcome, but I'm not sure what we want to commit on helping out with infrastructure. I'm reluctant to use some of our TIF monies to even pay for the water and sewer at this point. Because we're relying more and more on those TIF dollars for other infrastructure.
Operational.
And operation.
Yeah.
So I'm, for anybody that stops in, I think our best that is to just hit pause until we find out exactly what happens at the end of the legislature and be able to recalibrate and recalibrate each project.
Do you know when their final vote's gonna be?
End of the session.
When's the
When's that?
session end?
Yeah, it's a long session, budget session, so what is it, March maybe?
I was thinking it was like the end of March.
So, anyway, I
Okay.
shouldn't say any more about our legislators. I did fire off a email to them. Said, hey, everybody's complaining about, well, how are you gonna replace the money? And other mayors and others are concerned about how they're gonna how the state's gonna help us replace those dollars. State's not, I don't think. So my approach was, hey, you guys wanted us to incentivize residential, well, you just took that off the table.
Yeah.
So that's your unintended consequence. So you guys decide.
Take and do.
And in 2 years, whatever you do, in 2 years, people will still be complaining about their property tax bill.
Sure.
So I'm disappointed that's happening. And then there also talk again about townships going away, which, how are they going to fund fire departments then? How does that happen?
They're talking about doing away with townships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And fire territories.
They have for a long time.
It'd be under the county guidance.
Mhm.
Ooh,
That'll work great. I'm
Oh,
sure.
Well, there was a thing that
Oh,
came
yeah.
up, what, like 10 years ago or so
Mhm.
about
Yeah,
getting
they
rid of
tried.
townships?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it looks like this one though has a better chance because it's, I mean, with this happening, like smaller communities that have no industry, they're not gonna be able to cover their bills. They already can't cover their bills. So
Right.
it's looking like it could pass just based on that.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff. I'm not sure what they're thinking or why or if they're thinking, but I'm sure they are. Their intentions are good, no doubt.
I see that right on your face.
Okay, any other questions on projects or policies or whatever, but, okay.
Okay.
Anything I'm missing, Michelle? Okay. That's it for me then.
okay. Anybody have questions for Mike? Nope. Okay. We will move on to Kathy.
I just have a couple notes and a request for a blessing. We have a sewer CD with one of our banks that we've had for several years. We believe that it was created when we had a bond and interest payment. What was it called? The sewer bonds. That was there before I started. So we've used some of those monies along the way to pay for vehicles. We have a balance left of $300,000. Last time it matured, I changed the term so it was shorter to a 7-month term instead of years. The CD matured again just recently, so it was an interest rate of 0.46. So I called the bank and they agreed to change it to 4.16. So we have that for the next 7 months, but I think when that matures, just based on our current needs, we need to cancel it out and just put it into our general operating or our sewer operating fund, so we can make use of that. While I inquired about that, I also questioned the interest rate on our current checking accounts, which is at 1%, and they agreed to raise that to 1.5 on all of our checking accounts.
Nice.
So notes on that. Next is just a request from you guys. We are currently part of the Indiana League of Municipal Clerk Treasurers, and we are required by state statute to have X amount of hours training every year or within every 4 years. So Jill and I have both received our credit for this organization, and we are looking to be part of the next level and are asking if you would give your blessing for us to join the IMC, which is the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, so that we can extend our education opportunities and networking. The annual cost of that is $310 for both of us to be part of that.
I think it's a great idea myself.
Yeah, same here.
Something we could,
Education's
support.
good.
Go for it, girl.
Okay, that's all I have.
is there a motion to approve the IIMC membership in the amount of $310?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
Second,
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, like a vote, Doug Smith,
yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, well, heck. Um. Yep,
Okay. I'll start talking. about
okay.
it. So, we're going to ask permission to proceed with an additional appropriations, so all of the general obligation bonds, we need to appropriate those because we'll be buying a fire truck and streetlights this year. So we're just going to appropriate the entire bond amount. Because we'll probably use it all this year. Secondly, we have, it's called an alternate route fund. So near as I can tell, when you borrowed money from the county to major moves fund to build the alternate route, you created this fund and you didn't spend it all. It's like 117,000 sitting there. So we could really use that for either purchasing right of way for the alternate route or some construction related to that. So we're going to appropriate that entire amount.
Okay,
Makes sense.
And there's a third. ARP, yes, we have some ARP monies that we need to spend on water improvement projects, which we really need some money for that. I wish that 300,000 wasn't sewer. I wish it was water. That CD that we just talked about.
yes,
So we'll be appropriating the rest of the ARP money and we're counting that towards the water main projects on St. Joe and Elkhart.
How much is in that fund?
I don't need that money.
Oh.
Yes,
How much
we,
is in
I
it?
actually appropriated some of that and we're in good shape.
How much is in that fund?
ARP, 100 and something.
$121,634.37 is what we'll be asking for.
Out of ARP,
Yes,
and then the other two,
the alternate route will be $117,639.55. That will zero that account out. And our Go Bond fund is $1,128,482.59. My apologies for not having that ready.
Am I reading up the first two again?
Yep, the ARP money is $121,634.37. The alternate route is $117,639.55. And the Go Bond is $1,128,482.59. This is a request to publish and move to second reading.
And that's going into, all of these are going into what fund?
they're not moving, we're spending it from those funds.
We're just pulling it into the budget.
Yeah, we didn't budget for this. Those-
Oh, you did, okay.
Kathy was hiding them from me.
so the Go Bond, we've had that in place.
Yes, we have, yeah. And we knew those expenditures were coming. This is the year it's happening.
Yeah, that's, the Go Bond is one that they brought up at the the data center. Somebody brought it up at the data center, and that was for the purchase of the fire truck.
Mhm.
And we've had that in the budget for the last 5 years. Okay. So, do we want to take these one at a time, or do you want to do it one
No,
more?
we do them all at once.
Okay. So is there a motion? With appropriate
For an additional appropriation.
for an additional appropriation for the Go Bond in the amount of $1,128,482.59. The alternate route fund in the amount of $117,639.55. And for the ARP account in the amount of $121,634.37. Is there a motion to approve that appropriation.
I'll make a motion to approve that appropriation.
Okay,
So this is a motion to advance to second reading and publish the notification to the taxpayers.
okay,
That's all worded, if that's good with you.
okay. As long as it works for Alex.
Yep. That sounds good. That was gonna be my view too.
Okay.
Where we get-
Okay, I'll amend to what Kathy said.
Okay, advance to second reading.
Advance second reading.
So motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes,
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
you're pulling some.
I know, that's what that thing.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Anybody have anything for Kathy?
Nope.
Okay, if not, Alex, anything tonight?
Other than the happiest birthdays to Kathy Burke.
Thank you.
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Next item is privilege of the floor, otherwise known as public comment. Anybody in the room like to make public comment this evening? Seeing none, we will move on. Next item, town council agenda, town council discussion items. Doug, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Birthday girl?
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody for the cupcakes and the flowers. It's really nice. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I made it this far.
Yes, you did.
Good.
Greg, anything?
Nothing.
Okay. And I have nothing other than same thing. Happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next meeting, February 18th, work session. We're gonna talk about Main Street property discussion. February 20th is council meeting. And with that, motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Greg. All in favor?